What if the thing that's stopping you and stopping me from making great art and from sticking to my artistic goals, to sketchbook every day, to draw every day, to create every day? What if all of that has absolutely nothing to do with all the things that I think it has to do? Maybe I started a super cool painting and it's still sitting here or there, if I'm not talking about the one behind me, for months. Or what if I have a sketchbook that I got and it's still sitting there in its package and I haven't even opened it? The thing is we all suffer the same problem, and it has to do with focus. It has to do with being distracted, maybe by little birds squawking in your ear, but most likely from something that looks kind of like this. It's awesome and it's addictive. It beeps, it dings, it buzzes. It's bright, it's awesome, and I can sit there on it and look at the world going on, except for one thing: it's not really happening. It's all just smoke and mirrors and make-believe. What if what we really need to do is not worry about the past, not worry about the future, but live right here in this beautiful moment? Because at the end of the day, guess what? This moment, right now, right here, that's all we've got. And it's a beautiful moment. It's a gift. You don't have to have it. In fact, out of the crazy chance that the universe has created for you to be here right here in this moment, man, the odds are totally against that ever happening. And yet you're here. And yet, how much time do we spend thinking about that past? Maybe it was stuff that happened that we didn't like. Maybe it was stuff that we did that we regret. Maybe it was awesome things. Or maybe we're looking forward to the future. Maybe we're thinking, oh, things are going to be so great down the road. And we're losing track and we're losing focus of right here and right now. What if that dinging, awesome thing in your hand, or that awesome whiz bang that you're probably watching this on, is distracting you from getting down to work and doing what you need to do? Now, before you stop the video and say, okay, man, I'm getting at it, wait and let's watch the video and finish what we're talking about first. I'm not saying we have to give up all of our stuff. I'm not saying that we have to live in an empty room. I like books, I like my plants, I like my things, I like creating, I love Pocket, I love my dogs. But we also have to understand that all the digital beeps and alerts and the addictive nature of social media, it takes us away from the present. And there's so much other stuff that takes us away from the present. And the present is all that we have. It is literally a present. It's a gift. And so many of us squander it. Probably all of us. What we need to do is try to get more in tune with this moment right now. What we need to do is try to increase our focus and to be a little bit more disciplined in how we spend our time. So if you want to keep a sketchbook, you don't think about, well, I'll start next month or I'll start next. You start today. You start right now. Pull the thing out, rip it open, get a pencil, get a pen, whatever you have. I don't care if you use a toothpick and some mayonnaise. Create something. A toothpick and mayonnaise. Man, that sounds actually pretty cool. I wonder what happens when you do that. Maybe I'll try it. If you have to, set times to check your email. If you have to, set aside some time to watch videos like this. Because I think there is a definite benefit from living in the times we live in. Because I came from a time when we didn't have YouTube and we didn't have all the things that we take advantage of today. There was a time when if you wanted to learn things, you had to go to the library or you had to figure it out yourself. So thank goodness that we have things like this video and others to help us to grow. But what we need to do is understand that distractions are distractions, and they derail us from all the things that we really want to do. So, if you want to create, if you want to keep a sketchbook, if you want to paint awesome paintings, if you want to do whatever it is, work with clay, bake, I don't know how you want to be creative, but if you want to do that, you need to understand that your technology, let's just call it that, and other things are generally just tools. That's all they are. It's not life. It's not creative necessarily. Doing things like videos like this, I would say these are creative. But whether it's an iPhone or whatever you want to call it, a smart device or a computer, these things are tools. And you wouldn't carry around a hammer all day, unless you work with a hammer. But I imagine even then you're going to put that hammer down from time to time. But you wouldn't walk around with a hammer all day hammering things just to take up time. When we want to set ourselves a real goal of being creative and getting more from our lives, it has to start right now. It has to start today, and it has to be something we stick to tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after. Because you know what, us human animals, we are so prone to coming up with excuses. We're the excuse makers. It's because of this, it's because of that, it's their fault, It's so easy to fall down that rabbit hole. It's so easy to be distracted from what is real in this life. So, what are we going to do? What I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that I understand that the things that are in my life can either be useful to me, can be a distraction for me, or can be bad for me. And those things that are bad for you, you want less of that. The things that are distractions, well, if you need them in your life, then use them sparingly and don't let them take over your life. And the things that are good for us, the things that improve our lives, the things that make us better and get more from this time that we have here on this amazing floating sphere out in the middle of the empty universe. Man, we need more of that. And I think that keeping a sketchbook and being creative and finding the time to sit and to breathe and to, if you want to call it, to meditate, to find peace in your life, to cultivate compassion, all of these things, they actually matter so much. What we need to do is be more in the moment. What I say to myself sometimes, or regularly actually, not just sometimes, is I remind myself that this moment that I'm in right now, this present moment, is a beautiful moment. And it might be raining, it might be stormy, in all the ways that I, can think that that's possible, but it is still a beautiful moment right now. And yet you might think, well, I'm going through, turn off that stuff. We're all going through different things. But right now, in this moment, you have the choice to love this moment. You have this choice to be in this moment fully and to experience it, because that is a gift. And then our art expresses that. There's a reason I think that a lot of my art, I see that it is, sunrises or sunsets, because they're beautiful. And you have to be in that moment. You have to experience it fully. You have to see that color. And my art reflects that, I think. Because I've noticed, as I keep a sketchbook, this, keeps being this reoccurring theme that comes out of the crazy ether between the ears. And I think that's a good lesson for myself. And maybe that's a good lesson for you too. What we need is to understand that there are things that take us away from the present, and the present is all that we have. And the present is when we are going to create. The present is when we are going to dedicate ourselves to this path to unraveling the knots of who we are and experiencing that fully through our sketchbooks or through our art. And that's a huge gift. Like I've said before, so far, all we know of is one crazy creature on this amazing planet that does what we do, and that is create. So, what we have to do, and what I hope you can do, is try to be more present. I'm not saying for a second to turn it all off and, not have any part of any of the technology or the social media or the distractions of our busy lives. But what we can do is not let them rule us. Not to get into the addictive reality of them. Instead, take some of that time that you would have spent commenting on somebody and do a drawing, do a painting, do a sketch. In another video, I talked about 3 things that we can do to improve our drawing and painting skills, our art skills. And one of them is to take 2 minutes maybe and do a speed drawing. So instead of doing that 2 minutes on your iPhone or your whatever it is that you use, take that 2 minutes instead and put it to drawing your iPhone. I think that would be far more useful in your life and in all of our lives than, commenting on the latest thing that influencer is telling you is so important. Those are things that I'm thinking about right now. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what matters to you. Let me know what I can do to help you. And I hope that we can cultivate more compassion in our lives for ourselves. And I think that starts with slowing down. That starts with reflecting more. That starts with being kind to ourselves. And in the end, being kind to all other things. If nothing else, it's something to think about. Watch some of these other videos if you haven't. Hit like and subscribe. Please help spread the word of this channel and what we're trying to do here. Share it. Tell your friends. Tell your frenemies. And just live a good life and be a good friend. Thanks a lot.